Welcome into Celtics Today by Chat Sports. Coming up on today's show, latest on Damian Lillard. We have a new Jaylen Brown update, and could Boston trade Grant Williams to the Dallas Mavericks in a sign-and-trade maneuver? Before we unpack all of this and talk about it, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're 162 people away from 19,000 subscribers. If you're looking for year-round Celtics coverage, this is your go-to spot. And I want to challenge all of you out there. How many subs can we pick up on this video? If you love Boston, hit that subscribe button. Let's start here with the latest around Damian Lillard. Marc J. Spears of ESPN said something very, very interesting, that he has heard that Jayson Tatum is recruiting Damian Lillard to the Boston Celtics. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about this here on the show, that Chris Haynes said that Boston is out of the mix. Damian Lillard does not want to go there. But then Bill Simmons pivoted on his podcast with Ryan Russillo, and of course, they're always tapped into the Boston sports scene. And Bill Simmons said that the Celtics give Damian Lillard the best chance to win a championship, and they can be one of the realistic trade partners to get Damian Lillard out of the Pacific Northwest. He escapes Portland, goes to a different team, and if Damian Lillard is looking to win a championship, it's not the Miami Heat that gives him the best opportunity to maximize his potential at chasing the Larry O'Brien trophy. It's the Boston Celtics. He said Jaylen Brown to a third team to complete the Lillard trade is what makes sense. So maybe Portland gets Jaylen Brown back. They start to build around him. That would make sense from a roster construction standpoint, right? Because they have Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe. You put Jaylen Brown into that mixture, he can get his money. It's a great piece, a better piece than what the Miami Heat have to offer. Or you could put Jaylen Brown in a three-team deal, he could go somewhere else. Now, if Boston were able to land Damian Lillard, what a roster this would be for the Celtics right after making it to the Eastern Conference Finals in a series that, frankly, I think they should have won if they didn't no-show the first couple of games against Miami. You have Damian Lillard kind of running your point guard position. Him and Jayson Tatum go back and forth between the primary offensive creators. Damian Lillard, much better handler of the basketball than Jaylen Brown. So I think you gain something there. Derek White, fantastic defensive guard who can really do everything as your glue guy to replace Marcus Smart. And then you have Al Horford, who gives you some inside-outside versatility at that 4-5 spot. And then Kristaps Porzingis. Zingas Pingus is down there holding it up on that low block, but he can also stretch the floor as well. So I kind of like the variety of the Celtics lineup here. You have two uber scorers in Dame as well as JT, who Michael Jordan was embracing over the weekend. It was pretty cool to see that. Jordan Brand athlete is Tatum. You have your defensive stalwart in Derek White, who can also hit the three, create a little bit. So that's really three creators there. And then two bigs who can kind of hang out and hover around the three-point arc, or they can mix it up down low as well. And Porzingis, according to the analytics, pretty good defensive season last year. And we know what Al Horford can do, even at this age, on the defensive end of the floor. So you look at that Celtics starting five here potentially. Would you trade Jaylen Brown either to Portland or a third team if that's what it meant to get Damian Lillard? I know a lot of you are very frustrated with the lack of development with Jaylen Brown's handle. You would lose something defensively at that wing spot, but you still have Derek White, Al Horford, then Jayson Tatum as your wing defenders. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. We do have a great deal that we want to tell you about. $40 shirts for this Jayson Tatum gear here. All you have to do, use that link down below, chatsports.com/Tatum. Really special run for him throughout much of the NBA playoffs, even though we did have some clunkers. But the Game 6, Game 7 against Philadelphia, just a superstar outing for him in both of those matchups. So get yourself a shirt for the Celtics. Great on sale, $40 today only, chatsports.com/Tatum. Now let's get to the latest on Jaylen Brown. This is a brand new update on JB. So earlier we talked about him maybe being moved. Now let's talk about him getting that super max. Jeff Goodman on NBC Sports Boston with this tidbit here. I talked to somebody in the organization, and they said there's really nothing to worry about right now. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. That's Goodman on Brown getting that super max, and Goodman did say the Celtics would probably like to get it done prior to Summer League holding up. Right now, there's the California Classic, Summer League games out in Utah, but at the Las Vegas Summer League, that's when all these executives come together. That's when a lot of players are out there in Vegas getting workouts in and then spending some time watching some of these youngsters. And for Jaylen Brown, I think the development of his game has been really admirable. What he was out of Cal, an athletic high flyer who could defend, no handle, no shot, and now he's turned into a guy who can give you 27 points per game. Pretty solid three-point numbers, although this past year, 33.5%. You'd like to see those go up to the year prior, around 36, or even better the year before that at nearly 40%. But Jaylen Brown, let's not get it twisted. I understand that him turning the ball over is certainly a problem. The fit alongside Jayson Tatum can get a little bit clunky, but the trade of Marcus Smart, I think, frees up some ball handling and offensive opportunities for both JB and JT. So is Brown worth the supermax? It's a lot of dough. W for worth, P for too pricey. Once again, you make the call. You get in the shoes there of Brad Stevens and share your thoughts with me. Grant Williams, sign and trade. Could it happen? And could the Mavericks be a destination for a Grant Williams sign and trade? They could use him, and it looks right now like the Celtics don't really need Grant Williams. DallasBasketball.com posted a Grant Williams for Tim Hardaway and JaVale McGee trade because the money has to work in order for this deal to make sense, obviously operating under the premise that Grant is able to get that contract extension. MassLive said that Oshae Brissett and the signing of him last week at the start of free agency is a conceivable replacement for Grant Williams. And the thought here is that you can get some value back for losing Williams. Now, he's a restricted free agent, so that's what allows you to get some good value back. But instead of matching that offer sheet, you sign him, and then you trade him, and then you get some pretty good value back. I do think that Grant Williams has sneaky value. Look, everybody wants to rip him for getting in the face of Jimmy Butler in the Eastern Conference Finals. That then set Jimmy Butler off. How about Grant Williams being the only player on the floor who wasn't scared of Jimmy Butler? At least he was trying, and he wanted to go after Butler, who was trying to snatch the souls of the Boston Celtics. And as a big who can defend a little bit, he can also hit that corner three. Guy hit 7 threes against the Bucks 2 playoffs ago in that critical Game 7 in the second round. So I think he has some value, and I think the Mavericks have seen that value, and maybe the Celtics can be the beneficiary of that value in a sign-and trade. Another reminder, subscribe to the show. 162 people away from 19,000 subscribers, and that means that 20K is coming up around the corner, which is, of course, a big milestone here on the show. Year-round Celtics coverage, all of our content has been crushing over the last couple of weeks, so hit that sub button, and we're going to continue to make it work here on Celtics Today.